Welcome back to Average Home Theater. I'm Nelson, and I'm being joined today by Dominic. How's it going, Dominic?
I'm doing good. Nelson, how are you?
I'm doing better, doing better. So we're just gonna hang out. It's gonna be, I guess, kind of like a June catch up or something like that. But yeah, I think we're just gonna sit back, talk about what we've been up to lately, and I don't know, maybe what we're looking forward to coming up. I got a couple of things I want to talk about, but
Yeah.
yeah, other than that, what you been doing?
For the last week and a half, I got summer vibes going right now. I'm
Oh
chilling
yeah,
now.
freaking teacher.
I was, kind of stressed the last couple videos because I had other stuff going on, but now I'm like, feels good to take a little reset. I need
Yeah,
it.
I don't get to do that until the end of July. That's when we're
Hey, at
going
least
on
it's on the horizon.
vacation. Yeah, I guess. We normally take our vacation the beginning of June, but it just the way things worked out this year, we're gonna have to go later. Oh, I just realized my fan's on. Oh,
The average home fan.
well, those who have theaters know that these things get hot.
Right.
So you always have to have some air circulation going on. But
Totally.
so a couple of weeks ago, Nick and I went to Texas Frightmare, and that was a lot of fun. But man, there are a lot of people in Dallas, Texas. Okay,
Uh,
I mean it's a pretty big building. Have you been to that convention center?
I've been to the fan expo that it was around April. I did that a few years ago. Actually, when I was selling my book, we had a little booth there. And it was pretty busy. But it wasn't
Man,
you did the horror fest though.
yeah, Texas
This was
Frightmare.
just a regular fan expo, but it was still pretty crowded.
Man, I just the I loved the vendors. They had a lot of cool stuff. Um, Lots of good, bad, cheesy horror movies. Basically, the entire lineup of Tubi horror movies
Okay.
you can buy on physical media over there because the producer is it's like three guys and they like produce almost all of those terrible movies. So they had a booth there. That
The
was really cool. I would like to spend more money doing stuff like that, but whenever I go to these conventions, I tend to only do or mostly do meet and greets. I like to meet
Mhm.
these celebrities and get their autographs and pictures with them and stuff. And the big one for me was your boy right here,
Proximus. Yeah.
Proximus Kevin Durant. I'm gonna
Dang,
go
good
ahead and here's a picture of me and him. Um,
nice.
he was super cool. It was his first convention. You could tell he was excited. He was full of energy. Um, Very
That's
nice.
awesome.
Any questions you asked him, he would answer them, and you can tell he was answering genuinely. So even though you only get to speak, a minute or two with him, it's
Right.
still something you don't forget.
And it
So
was so cool too because you were so fresh off the movie.
yeah, man, I told him that. I was like, dude, so hold on. So I said, man, the only problem was there wasn't enough Proximus, right? So he's in the middle of, oh, he wrote What a Wonderful Day on the thing. So he's in the middle of signing it. And whenever I said that, he kind of looked up for a second, like he was gonna say something, and then he goes, yeah, it's always good to want more. I think he almost slipped up and said, oh, there's gonna be some more Proximus. So I don't know.
Right.
I think he may have almost given away a spoil. At least that's just how I'm gonna take it.
No, it definitely sounds like that. Like kind of less is more. You have more under the table or wherever that you're going to pull out later.
Yeah, like
Um,
I really think he almost wanted to say, "Oh, don't worry, there's gonna be some more Proximus in the next one," and he like caught himself. You know, I don't know.
that's
I mean, that
oh
may not
you.
be what it was.
I thought you meant the pictures. You're talking about in
No, I'm
another
talking about
movie.
in him in the next
Oh,
movie. I said there wasn't enough Proximus
gotcha,
in the
gotcha.
movie, and it kind of, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like
Yeah,
he wanted to say, "Oh, don't worry, there's gonna be some more Proximus later,"
but then he was like,
but then he
yeah,
stopped himself.
restrictions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's got to be more in it, man, because that was one of our favorite things in that movie,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, he was too good of a character to only have as little
Hmm.
screen time as he did. And, you know, when you don't see a body, you don't see certain
That's
things. It's
true.
like, spoiler alert. Um, but yeah,
Well,
so that was
well,
him.
producer Nick mentioned that in the comments. I don't know if he said it in our group chat or if he said it in the comments on the video, but he kind of had thoughts that maybe he's not done too.
Yeah.
So,
Also got to meet the man himself.
oh, nice.
Yeah. He looks kind of like Wilford Brimley now.
Yeah, he's old now.
He's
Michael
74, I think.
Ironside.
Hmm. Yeah, he was really nice. I tried to get him to um scold Nick for only seeing Total Recall once, but instead
What?
but instead he scolded me. So, but either way, getting scolded by Michael Ironside is not the worst thing, right?
That was one of the 4Ks I was going to talk about, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about those in a minute. Um
Yeah.
but he was super cool, very nice. Um he told me not to try to run the universe, it'll give me hemorrhoids, you know.
But I feel like he has like that kind of old man, brass tacks, no
Hmm.
nonsense, military almost like,
But not really, man. He was
not really?
just a cool, laid back guy. I think he's just that good of an actor. He's really good at playing those
Yeah.
intense roles. Now, I don't think he's a big wuss. I mean,
Yeah. No,
if,
yeah.
I mean, he's 74 years old, looks like Wilford Brimley, but if he told me to sit down and shut up, I'd do it,
That's what
you
I'm
know?
saying. Like if you tried to say some cutesy joke, he'd probably be like, get out of here.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know?
yes, Michael
Yeah.
you know. And then of
Well,
course,
that's cool, man.
last, Sex Machine himself,
Wow.
but you haven't seen From Dusk Till Dawn yet.
Um,
So you don't get
I've
to look
seen,
at this.
yeah, I know of it. I've seen clips of it here and there, maybe in the background, but yeah. Well, why don't we do that one next? Since I've committed an egregious sin.
I know the movie by heart. I can do it right now. I've seen the movie a million times. So yes, we can do that one because that is definitely a horror movie you need to watch.
Yeah, and that has Clooney in it, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Clooney,
I
Quentin
remember.
Tarantino.
Yeah, when I was worked at a movie store back in the day, I don't know why I never watched it because every time it would come in, I'm like, man, I loved the cover art. Like it had Clooney holding the gun up, and then it kind of
Hmm.
had
Hmm.
I think it was Tarantino next to him. It looked like a cool uh, movie. Got
It's
kind of
a
like
it's a great movie.
Brian. Yeah, well, definitely, I'll check it out.
And
I'll
it's
add it to
directed
the
by
list.
Robert Rodriguez, so it has a lot of that over the top action that, doesn't make any sense.
The director of the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay, so moving on.
Hey, I don't hate it, but I'm just messing around.
All right, so that was my excitement. So, all right, so you want to show us some of your favorite physical media, or is it just 4K you want to show?
Kind of a mixture of both. Um, uh, but before we get into that, since you were talking about celebrity meet and greets and stuff, I got to do one over. I thought it was going to be a Zoom call, but it was called. They did it on something else, but it was that kind of a platform. I got to meet Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum through a Zoom call type of thing. It was a 10-minute call. My wife had done it for me as a birthday gift and just scheduling. She had emailed them like, hey, is there any way we could do it when school's over? Just because they always wanted to meet like in the middle of the day. But I went ahead and did it. And for me, it was a big deal because in 2001, I was 16. So I was at the perfect age for Smallville. And they recently have kind of had a resurgence because it's a 20 years anniversary, and they've been doing a podcast called Talkville where they rehash all the old episodes. And
So, okay, so he is who?
okay, so
Is he Lex
Michael,
Luthor?
yeah, Michael Rosenbaum played
Yeah, I'll watch
Lex
his
Luthor.
podcast.
Yeah, Inside of You.
Inside of You. Yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
So you got to hang out with him. That's
I
cool.
got to hang out with him for 10 minutes. It goes quick, but man, it was cool. And also Tom Welling, who played Superman Clark Kent, he was on it
Oh,
as
okay.
well. Yeah, because they do that little podcast together. And it's cool because they're not fake about it. Like sometimes they're like, this episode sucks. And then they call up the producer and like, what were we thinking on this episode? And then when it's good, they're like, okay, finally, we got to a good one. Because Smallville suffered from the 22 episode thing where
Yeah, yeah.
back in the 20 years ago, you didn't have, okay, we're going to shoot 8, it was week to week and all that. So but yeah, it was, they were childhood heroes for mine for a long time. So it was cool. My wife was on it too, and they were impressed with our ages. They thought we were 10 years younger than we were. And they were super nice, man. Tom Welling told me to do something really fun on my 40th birthday because he said the 40th is fun, but the 50th, you're like, oh crap, what's going on?
Right, right. I can imagine. I mean, I'm gonna be 44 next month, so it's like, holy crap, man. It's already been 4 years since I turned 40.
Dang. Yeah. But no, I could even send you a couple of stills or something, but it was fun talking to them. And I corrected something from one of the episodes. Like they thought, long story short, there's an episode where Clark's mom gets healed by Clark's spaceship at the hospital. And they're like, why did the spaceship just heal the mom? Why didn't the spaceship heal the whole hospital? That was kind of a mess up. And then I told him, I was like, well, the ship was eradicating the kryptonite. So Martha was suffering from a kryptonite infection. So it got rid of the kryptonite in her system indirectly just because it was there, not because it was her.
Big
So it was,
nerd.
yeah, that's what Michael said. After I said that, Michael goes, get a life, dude. But they were cool, man. Like Michael Rosenbaum, especially. Tom Welling was a little bit more kind of how I am, like a little bit more serious. Michael Rosenbaum was just freaking cracking up the whole time. And you could tell he's probably cool to hang out with. He's laid back.
Yeah.
And
No, I
fun.
really
So,
enjoy watching his show. I don't get to watch it all that
yeah.
often, but every now and then, like I saw Michael Bean was on there, Robert
Mm,
Patrick was on there, so I enjoyed
yeah.
watching those.
He
I
gets
know
some good
Dee
ones on
Wallace was
there.
on there not that long ago,
Yeah. Dee Wallace was on there.
and she was
And
at Texas Frightmare. But man, like I said, there were so many people there because they had so many big celebrities. I say big in the horror community, they were huge celebrities,
right.
that I mean, it sort of attracts a lot of people. So
Right.
there was just lines like crazy.
Well, and plus you got multiple decades of people
Yeah.
too.
And I just don't have enough money to meet everybody. I don't have that kind of cash. I mean, I got to spend all my money on the production value of this show. No, no, no.
No, you got to pick and choose. Yeah.
People
Fandom
know
on a
if
budget.
you're watching this show, you know what kind of production value you're getting. I mean, this is like grade A stuff here. But man, that's awesome. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
it was fun. It was good. It was cool. It kind of scratched that off my bucket list. And he said, hey, if we ever went to Houston, would y'all go? And we were like, heck yeah, man. Because they go more to the eastern and kind of northern areas,
Uh-huh.
but they kind of tour around because now I can't believe the show is that old now.
Oh yeah,
You
man.
know, yeah. So they're
Time
in
is
their
just flying right now.
yeah, because they're both in their I think they're both in their 50s, but nothing but great things to say about him. It was cool talking to him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you wanted to go into some physical media?
Yeah, let's show me some of the things you're proud of, man. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Since
So
I've never been to your house before.
yeah, we got to make that happen. So Nelson and I were talking about physical media and kind of it's unfortunately not as popular as it once was, but it's also made it more. They're almost more like precious, more valuable because you can't just run up and Best Buy. My heart was broken about a week and a half ago. It's
You
all
didn't
gone.
know?
I knew it was going to go away this year, but like in March, they still had it,
Mm.
because they were still, I think I went up in March. It was definitely when school was still going on and, picking up little gyms here and there. But the last time I went, it was gone,
It
man.
broke your heart, huh?
It did, man, because I get, it's old school, but I like holding it in my hand. I like looking
Hmm.
at the cover art. And not to mention, I'm a junkie for all the bonus features. Like sometimes on streaming they have bonus, but then like, I mean, yeah, it's more convenient to not put it in there, but I like having it in my hand. I like
Hmm.
looking at the cover. I like, popping it open and, the
Or
clarity,
when,
the
I don't
bonus
know,
features.
maybe whenever you lose internet,
Right.
what am I going to do? I can't watch anything. Oh, wait, I have hundreds of movies on disc. I'll watch them.
Yeah. And I mean, this is also kind of the conspiratorial side of me, but like, if you're only watching what's readily available on streaming, you're kind of only watching what they're letting you watch.
Bingo.
I don't, yeah, and
Go get
I
your
don't,
tinfoil hat, you crazy person.
I mean, because all the time they're like, even on Disney Plus, they're like, we apologize for this scene.
You
It
mean
was,
even on Disney Plus? How about primarily? I mean,
but yeah,
you picked the
yeah.
worst one to use an example of. Jeez Louise.
But anyway, yeah, I know, and yeah, I know. I don't like some of the stipulations Disney has, but I mean, I'm also going to stop by there this summer too. So, it
No,
is what it
the
is.
mouse doesn't get any more of my money.
I don't blame you. But anyway, so Total Recall, this is a 4K copy. Um,
I
it's
have
pretty
it.
cool. Yeah. Oh, you have this one too?
Hmm. I have the
Yeah.
steel book. Is that the steel book?
No, it's not the Steelbook, but
Oh,
I wish it was. And now that they're becoming more rare, I look for that more than I used to. Just
at least I think I
because
have the steel book. I definitely have the
you.
physical copy. Hang on, let me go see.
No, you're good.
You
So I
can
mean, you
keep
might as
talking.
well.
You can keep
Yeah,
talking.
Blade Runner 2049. This one of the best picture qualities I've ever seen on a 4K. The farm scene at the beginning when Ryan Gosling comes up in the car, like all the white contrast to the black, like one of the best looking 4Ks. It's a good movie too, but if you want to kind of test your player, this is one of the best looking 4Ks I've
Yo,
seen.
oh yeah, it looks great. No, I don't know
Yes.
where it's at. It's somewhere.
Oh, okay.
I
This
have
one,
stuff. I have movies all over the place.
yeah, I kind of run into that too now. Um, Watchmen, this is another thing. This has the ultimate cut on it. It has like the theatrical cut. Like if you're streaming it, you don't know which cut you're getting or you're only getting one. But this has kind of both cuts, and that's a good looking 4K also.
Man, I know somebody who owns that movie and he's had it for years and he's never watched it. Who is that? Oh, producer Nick. That's who it is. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Top Gun Maverick. This is a Steelbook 4K. This is a cool one.
I have it. Yep. And they're very
Yeah.
nice.
Um, Pulp Fiction
I have that one
Steelbook.
too. And it
Dang, it's
looks
awesome.
great, man. Pulp Fiction looks really good.
Yeah. And that's what was that, like 94, something like that?
94 or 95, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, when you see an older movie look that good, it kind of gives a lot of the other ones no excuse, especially if they were made after. Like you're
Did I lose
are you there?
video?
Yeah, you did. Oh, you're back.
It's really delayed, huh?
Was it the Disney thing?
They hacked me.
Well, I'm going to Disney this year, so hopefully they'll
Dude,
give us a pass.
I don't understand what's going on with this. Is it up to speed yet? There we go.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you're good now.
Man, it must have had a stroke. Go ahead.
No, we were talking down on streaming.
That's what it was, man. I'm getting checked.
The Joker.
Oh, I have it on 4K, but is that a steelbook?
Yeah, it's a steelbook. And
Oh, I don't have that.
I mean,
Nice.
how could you not want to see him dancing up and down the stairs? It's a nice case and it's a good looking 4K too.
Are you I think we talked about it, but part two, I don't know, man.
Oh, fully ado, yeah.
I mean
Um,
I think it's going to be a very interesting movie, something that, different maybe.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a big musical person, so it's going to be interesting to see how much of a musical it's going to be. I mean, are we talking like Grease, where like every 10 seconds they have like 5 lines of dialogue and then it turns into a song? Or is it going to be something where they have like 4 or 5 musical numbers in the movie? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just
I
wondering how much of a musical it's going to be.
That's what I'm hoping for is 4 or 5 musical bits, and there's still a lot of drama in it because the first one, I mean, that was a great comic book movie. That was up there with like Logan, I think. Like, very adult, very gritty.
Hmm.
And it was like, I think I remember hearing it was like a $70 million budget and it made $1 billion.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so that was because comic book movies have that tendency to overspend, and if they don't do well, it's not good. That was one of the ones that did really well. But I'm hoping the second one's good. I'm surprised they got Phoenix back because he says he doesn't do sequels. But I guess they packed up the Brinks truck when it did so well.
Well, but I can just imagine because of the route that they're taking with the musical,
Mm-hmm.
knowing Joaquin Phoenix is a little different, he's probably
Oh, maybe that's what
thinking,
lured him in.
okay, yeah, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? It's not a
Yeah,
traditional sequel because it's going to be a little different. It may have intrigued his artistic, psyche or whatever that
you're right.
actors have. Uh,
No, because he is. I mean, he is a little weird. He's a great actor though, but yeah, he is kind of aloof like that, and I could see him maybe liking that. And plus, he got the Academy
yeah.
Award, which was cool.
Like what's the director's name? Todd what?
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips. Okay, Joaquin, here it is. Musical. You know what I'm saying? Like, was that his pitch?
It might have been the sell to him was obviously harder than the studio because the studio was probably like, "Great, let's do it tomorrow." But yeah, I think you're onto something. Maybe that
I don't know.
quirkiness is kind of what lured him into it because it was different.
Yeah,
So
that's.
we'll see.
I mean, that would have
Um,
hooked me. No, I'm joking.
um, I know you're not huge on Marvel, but this Spider-Man No Way Home, this was a really
Oh,
good
I
4K
like that.
disc. Yeah. Um,
That's neat artwork.
yeah, it looks cool. Um, and then going back to the 90s, Blade on 4K.
Okay, so I have a confession.
Uh-huh.
I have never seen Blade.
Really? I think you would really like the first one. Um, it kind of went the route of the Tim Burton Batman movies, where
Uh-huh.
like the first one's amazing, the second one has moments, and the third one's awful. Well, I guess Batman Forever one that was kind of fun, but um, it starts off more serious. This was
Fun
cool,
is a
man.
good is a good word to describe a movie that you like, but you know it's crap.
No, but this
That's
was
a fun movie. I mean, I'd do it too.
yeah,
It's if I say a movie, man, that movie's just fun, then that means it's crap. But I liked it anyway.
like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, it is. That's
Um,
exactly what it
that
is.
really is how Batman Forever is a guilty pleasure. Um,
Look, I look like the Joker now.
yeah, it looked like the Nicholson Joker when he in the movie when it pauses and he kind of has that weird smile.
All right, this is kind of pissing me off.
Say something good about Disney.
I can't do that. What is going on?
They technically made Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
What?
Well, because 20th Century Studios made that movie, and Disney owns 20th Century Studios.
Well, you're getting into semantics.
Yeah,
Am I
I think
back?
you. Yeah,
There
you're
we
back
go.
now. You're back. You're back from the future.
Man,
Um,
this is crazy. Like I said, the production value is just superb. Mm. Ooh.
We're still here. We're still here. But Blade is fun, man. No, not it's better than fun. Uh, it and it was late '90s, so it was like right before the Matrix, before superheroes were a thing. It's more of a vampire hunting movie, but it was good. It's stylized. It was fun. Um, Logan, of course, I kind of mentioned that earlier. This is a good one. Um, and actually, I had bought this one on 4K after owning the Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray box was better. You know, it was a
Mhm.
better box, so I just put the 4K in that one because it has kind of like a, it's kind of like a booklet.
Oh wow, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. See, and you can't. You see, and you got the movie in there. You can't get this on streaming. You can't look at a cool booklet.
Amen,
Darkman
brother. Oh, I
on
got the
Steelbook.
VHS. And then I think it's an old rental. So it's like in one of those hard cases. You know, it looks like crap, but I
That's
have it.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even like, hey, I got it on DVD. Like I have it on 8 track.
Hey man, VHS is gangster.
Yeah, I remember that. But no, it's a cool. This isn't one by you know about them, Scream Factory.
Hmm. Yeah.
They put this one out. And again, to really appreciate this movie, I feel like you had to have watched it in the early '90s because it was 1990.
Oh yeah. As a
You know,
kid, now I don't know how much we watched it because we didn't own it, but I do know I watched it a few times as a
mhm.
kid, and I we thought it was awesome. You know,
Yeah, that's
it's
funny because
fun.
that's how I was introduced to it. It's fun. A neighbor kid down the street, he liked it, and my dad had recently saw it, and then I checked it out, and just the fact that it was like kind of a horror superhero movie. And again, in 1990 or 91, whenever I watched it, all we had was Superman and like the two Keaton movies. We didn't have like this plethora that you have now. So any little bit of comic book movie you could find, it was cool. It was like, wow, this
Mhm.
is based on a comic. But Liam
And
Neeson,
it was Sam Raimi. I mean, and then he did Spider-Man a few
mm-hmm.
years later.
Yeah, and you can see kind of some of the same things he does in Spider-Man, like in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, he zooms in on the eye a lot, and he does
He
that
does
in
that
Darkman.
he does that in all his movies, man.
Well, in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, which he directed, Doctor Strange fights a giant eyeball. So yeah, yeah, I know. I just have a few more, but I couldn't resist.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
this is getting into Blu-ray, so I have Back to the Future on
Oh,
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. Crap.
It's better than the VHS though. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
You take that back.
but I know you have it on 4K, right?
Yes, I have the 4K steelbook of the trilogy.
How does it look on 4K?
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
It looks great. The one that looks the best, of course, is part three, you know, the newer one or whatever.
Right.
And the Dolby Atmos sound is very good in all three of them. It's very dynamic. I mean, there's stuff all over the place. The biggest
Nice.
problem with it is there's like little to no bass. It's so weird. I mean, you have
Ooh.
the music sounds great, all this stuff, but there's like no
You don't have any
bass.
weight.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
like so it's the Atmos track would probably get like a 10 if it had a little bit more bass, you
so
know.
all the sounds kind of up here. You don't have like
Well, I
a
mean, they're just everywhere. I mean, they're
yeah.
where they need to be. If it's something overhead, I mean, it's a really, really good soundtrack, other than it just feels light, you know, there's just no
Gotcha.
bass to it. But I look, man, when I'm in here watching those movies, it is
Right.
a different experience than watching it anywhere else.
That's cool, man. I might have to take you up on that sometime. But yeah, it's just the Blu-ray because I got it. This is another thing with age. I feel like I got this a couple years ago, but it's probably been a decade
Uh-huh.
because it was before my
Yeah,
daughter was
because I have
born.
the Blu-ray trilogy as well. It's in the a different cabinet because I have both of them.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, So you might have the same one. I like how it
No, it's
kind of,
mine's different. I have the first release. That's the one of the later releases.
yeah.
The first release, it like it folds out into multiple,
Oh,
it's not
cool.
individual pages. It's kind of funky actually. It's kind of clunky. I don't really like it, but I mean I got it the day it came out on Blu-ray. Like I also had
Oh, that's cool.
the DVD trilogy the day it came out. I got that. So I bought the
I
damn movie God knows how many times.
I know that's so funny, like how many times we rebuy the same. But in my defense, I never owned a whole lot of VHS. But when DVDs hit with like the better quality and all the,
Right.
that's when I bought a lot of them.
Yeah.
But
Now
since
I
then,
did
I've
not have
rebought
Back to the
some.
Future on VHS.
It was so hard to find on VHS.
Not now. You can find that crap everywhere.
No, but I'm
But
like back in the day before the internet.
hmm
Like I remember my dad coming home being like, I found a VHS of Back to the Future 3 because there was no internet. Like some of these movies, once they had reached like being over 5 years old, it was so hard to find them.
Yeah. The only place I would ever see them was at Universal Studios. They
Oh,
always
actually, at
had,
the
but they were so expensive. Because
oh
I
yeah,
can remember as a young guy wanting to buy them. They just were too expensive. And then not long after all of that is when DVD got really big. So I was able to
yeah.
get it on DVD.
I think that's when a lot of people started building their collections. This one has the cartoon on it too. I haven't
Hmm.
gone back and rewatched it, but I remember liking it as a kid. Um, and oh, this is a different one. Rogue One.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
It's a steel book. It's the Blu-ray because this was before 4K. Um, but it's a cool looking steel book. I actually Seth had a copy of it of this of steelbook just like this.
If you tell me
And
he threw that away, I'm gonna stab him in the neck the next time I see him.
we need to put a censor on this episode.
Did he throw it
Um,
out?
okay, I don't. I so let me finish though. So he had this, and I was like, dude, I'm like, he has Rogue One on Steelbook, and I was like, that's so cool or whatever. And my wife saw me pining over it and surprised me and bought me a copy, but she had to pay like $100 for it because you couldn't find it anywhere.
And he probably
and
threw it away.
and last time I was at his house, the only one he said the only DVD he had left was that a Star Wars trilogy, the unspecialized. So he didn't say it directly, but I'm assuming this got bent up in the garbage truck.
Like Shredder's
We're
mask
gonna
on Ninja Turtles.
exactly like that. Exactly. um,
I'm,
you'll
I'm I'm
appreciate
very
this one.
upset right now. Oh, Silver
Yeah,
Bullet. Yeah, baby. I got that
yeah,
same copy. Yeah.
yeah. And this you inspired me to get this because you're the one that introduced me to it.
And there's a
Um,
4K now, but I just don't feel like spending the money to buy it again. Because I think
yeah.
that one looks great, like it is.
It does look good. And I first saw it on streaming and it looks better on here. But that cover art,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, like this would be a cool poster. Like I really like the cover art. Um and I have the Matrix like collection on Blu-ray. It was kind of a cool Blu-ray. It kind of has all of them in there.
Hmm.
Um you pretty much like all of them, huh?
Look, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a when it comes to movies, to me sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
And I thought the first one was phenomenal. And after I finished watching the first one, I didn't watch two and three probably for like a year because I didn't want to ruin it because I just thought it was perfect like it was.
Uh
And I had heard about two and three before. So
right.
anyway. So yeah,
No,
but I mean, look, I don't hate any of them, but to me,
right.
the first one is the one. All right, so what else you got there, Dominic?
Yeah, so Um, this one's kind of a rare one too. John Snepp made a documentary on the failed Superman movie. They were going to make a Superman movie in the '90s with Nicolas Cage, You've
Oh
probably
yeah,
heard
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
And it's like an in-depth documentary all about it, and he signed it and everything. He passed away since then, but it's cool. It's interesting. It was been Tim Burton directed. It would have been really weird. And they go into that on here. It's pretty cool. Um, and then I was talking about Smallville earlier. I have like it on Blu-ray.
Oh wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, it's cool. I have one of the discs out right now, but all 10. And again, like, it's nostalgic to go through it and kind of look around it, you know.
Man, I want to
And
get the X-Files, but
oh, that
they
would be
went
a cool one.
they went out of print a while back and it's just so expensive to try to find it.
Ah.
But anyway, so since we had to take our little break, I went ahead and I
Mm-hmm.
grabbed this little gem.
Oh, that's awesome.
See, it's a former rental at I don't know
That
if it says
yeah.
where. It just says Darkman on the front, 9.95 to purchase. And you know,
That's cool.
so
Especially the plastic casing. Like that brought me back.
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that, man. Dang.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
Dang,
And
that's
then
so funny.
this is probably, I mean, look, I've gone down a little bit of a VHS rabbit hole, but Slumber Party Massacre, I was able to snag a copy from my guy. I only paid $20 for it, but most of them go for like 70 and above on eBay. So
Dang.
shout out to my guy Alec that I buy the majority of my VHS tapes on Facebook.
Well, some of
I
those
found them.
obscure and rare ones, they do start to go up in value because there's only so many of them.
Right. And the funny part is some people think that they're more obscure than they really are. And you can find a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them. But Slumber Party Massacre, there's not a whole bunch of these. Oh, and did you notice the price? I don't know if you can see the price on it. Can you
60
read it?
bucks,
60 bucks,
59.90.
baby. And this is like
Dang.
1982 is when it came out. I don't know when the tape was made.
Yeah. Well, and VHS were a lot more back in the day too, like
This is a
that.
former rental. It says Be Kind Rewind, and it's property of Home Video, 1984 Stillwater Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Wow. Who knows what that tape's seen?
I know, man. That's pretty gangster.
That's
All right.
crazy, man.
All right. I'm sorry. What else? Is that all you got, or you
No,
got some more?
I'm just about there. Showing my faith a little bit, but Passion of the Christ, I have that on Blu-ray.
I
That
haven't watched it, and it's more of I'm too chicken, you know. Being,
it's an investment.
you and I are both Christians and believers, and um, I just I don't know if I can sit there and watch it. I just don't know if I can
Yeah.
do it.
I mean, the cool, I hate to say the word cool, but the cool thing about it is that it doesn't feel like a movie, faith wise, of course, but also the way Mel Gibson filmed it,
Mhm.
like it's all practical. Nothing's been replicated. He tore everything down after he finished. Like it is literally a snapshot in time. And some of those famous biblical stories are kind of weaved in it because during the crucifixion, they break it up and show you flashbacks. So it's
Right, right.
for one, you could take a break, and two, you see like all these little nuggets, like like the demons running around at the beginning, and then like when Jesus wipes his face and his impressions left on it,
Yeah.
like a lot of cool stuff like that is sprinkled in there. But yeah, it's an investment. Like oh, something I really like is they do the whole thing about the two thieves when he's up on the cross,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the one that's mocking him and the one that is like, hey, we deserve it. He's done nothing wrong. And then he said, you'll be with me in paradise. Like
Right,
they do
right.
that whole thing. Like there's a lot of those little nuggets that are in there. I mean, it's really well done. I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
One day
yeah,
I'll grow a pair and watch it.
yeah, it's heavy for sure. but it's like a good heavy, like it's well done. Um, just a couple of more. This Unbreakable. This is actually just a DVD.
I have that. I have the DVD. I mean, I have the Blu-ray set as well, but I do have
Yeah,
that.
I like this DVD though because it's like,
Yeah, it's a cool. That's why I never got rid of it.
yeah,
I don't know if it even plays. You know, a lot of DVDs suffer from disc rot, and that's one that I hadn't tried. Because I have a really cool Jackie Brown DVD in a cool box set like that,
mm-hmm.
and it doesn't play. It suffered from disc rot.
You know what? Because I've had some discs forever. Like this. This is the next one I'll show you. I have Gladiator and First Blood.
I have that Gladiator, that one with the DTS. That's the gangster one, bro. That is the
Yeah,
best DVD copy to have.
this. Yeah, and I remember this back in the day. Like when it first came out, everyone was looking for this. This is like a piece of gold. Like this
Hmm.
is, and it just looks cool. And then of course, First Blood wrapped in the flag. You know, that's like a
America.
rarity these days. But you know, um, but Universal, I've noticed that when on my 4K player, for some reason, whenever I play a Universal movie, it takes forever to load. Like if it's
Really?
like a Blu-ray, yeah. And I finally put it together. I'm like, it's always a Universal.
Hmm. Well, you know, Universal was doing because my Back to the Future Blu-rays do it. Um, they were trying to do that BD Live, Blue Disc Live, where if you
Oh,
had
where
an
you could,
internet connection and you would get like special features that you access online and all, but that like fell on its face. So it might be that because Universal
yeah,
tried that for a little while. But yeah, a lot
yeah.
of
I thought
DV,
that
you
was
know,
weird too.
Blu-rays though don't usually suffer from, or actually I don't think they suffer from disc rot. It's DVDs, and there's some
Okay.
studios that are more prone to it than others.
Uh huh.
Um, but yeah, I have quite a few. I say quite a few, at least a handful of discs that are starting to show, and I can tell whenever I watch them. But then there's also some that just won't play at all because of
Right.
that. And Jackie Brown is one of them.
That's crazy.
But anyway,
Um,
so
yeah, I think I went through enough of them. I mean, I have more, but that's all the ones I had out to show you.
I picked this one up because I've already shown it on my
Ooh.
favorites that because I did a favorites video. But this 4K of Beetlejuice, the Steelbook, is beautiful. I love it. And being that the new Beetlejuice is coming out soon, I felt it appropriate to show it off one more time for those that may not have
That's
seen it.
cool. Is that Steelbook?
Yeah, 4K Steelbook.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's and this movie looks and sounds
No, no.
great.
That is cool.
She's trying to get her 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah. That is cool, man.
Yeah, so you looking forward to Beetlejuice? Or you're not a Beetlejuice person like Nicholas?
Well, I'm kind of in the middle on it. Like I remember it. I remember getting it in the Happy Meals when the movie came out. Like it was kind of one of those things that were everywhere. I saw it, but I'm not like a diehard. Like I need to watch it again. I'm rusty on it. But I don't hate it,
You people
you know.
disappoint me.
Well, what do you think of the trailer? I did see the trailer that you
Oh,
sent me.
I'm excited. I mean, now look,
Yeah.
I don't expect anything to be close to the original, but I think it's going to be a good movie. I have high hopes. The fact that Tim Burton said, "Look, we're going to try to make it look like the original. We're all
Hmm.
practical effects, no CGI whatsoever in the movie."
You could see that
Um,
in the trailer too.
So I think it's gonna, it might look quote unquote bad, but if you watch that one, the special effects look terrible in a lot of spots,
Yeah,
a lot of that stop motion and stuff. So, but that's the charm of it, that's what makes it Beetlejuice.
I like
Um,
that. Yeah.
but I really think that they're going to feature Beetlejuice himself a lot more in this one. I think he's going to be, because he has very little screen time in the original one.
Yeah.
Um, so, and I think I mean, that's just my guess. He didn't say, but I think that's why producer Nick didn't really care. I think he had a different impression of maybe of what Beetlejuice was. I don't know, but it's not his
Uh-huh.
favorite. But he said he's looking forward to the second one, so I'll probably go watch that with him because my wife and daughter do not do Beetlejuice. So,
I'll need to definitely do a rewatch, and because I honestly I just remember kind of the bits and pieces when I was a kid. It was like one of those ones everybody saw, like Nightmare Before Christmas. It was one of those ones
Hmm.
everybody saw. Um, but I love Michael Keaton, and I like Tim Burton.
Hmm.
So I feel, and what's funny is the showrunners of Smallville wrote the story and the script for the new one.
For the
Al
new Beetlejuice?
Yeah, for the new
Oh,
Beetlejuice.
okay.
It's Al Goff and Miles Miller. It
Oh,
shows their
okay.
name in the credits, but I figured it made sense because they do Wednesday, which is a Tim Burton involved thing
I
too.
never watched that. I hadn't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but I know a little bit of it just from watching Talkville and stuff. But yeah, I want to check it out, and it's cool how much of the original cast they brought back.
Hmm.
You know, it being how long has it been? 30 something years.
Well, I mean, Beetlejuice was 1989, I think.
Gosh. So he did that right before
Batman. It,
Batman,
it
like
came
right.
out 1 year before Batman because Batman was 1990. Sometimes they say 89 for Batman, so
Yeah.
it's between 89 and 90. So Beetlejuice is 88 or 89. I'm gonna have to
Wow. I
confirm
didn't realize
here.
they were that close.
Yeah,
And it's funny because it's like the reverse
that
happened
was the
now.
big controversy. 1988. So that
Wow.
means I
Yeah,
guess
that was one
Batman
year
is
before.
89.
Yeah.
Um, that was the big controversy. People were like, "Oh, Beetlejuice is gonna be Batman." Yeah, people were upset about it. I was too young to
Yeah.
understand that. Um, but as I
Me
got a little
too.
bit older, I remember hearing that it was a big deal. All the hardcore comic book people, nerds or whatever, were pissed off that Michael Keaton was going to be Batman, and he's the best person to ever play Batman. So,
Oh,
suck it.
absolutely. I mean, we've kind of alluded to it before, but now as far as script, the Nolan ones are better written. But as
Oh,
far
I
as
mean,
acting as Batman,
yeah,
Keaton is the best.
Michael Keaton's the best,
Yep.
hands down.
Um, and uh, it's funny what you were saying about them not liking him being Batman because again, I was too young as well. Although I did see it in the movies, I vividly remember going. I was like 4 years old. It was one of my first memories that I
I didn't see
remember.
it in the
But
theater.
yeah, I was a kid and I fell asleep, but I remember going and I remember the scene of him in the alley on his back when they're trying to pull his mask up.
Oh yeah,
I remember that scene, but then when I saw Returns, I was like 8 or 7 or 8 or 9, somewhere in there. And I remember that, like I watched it all the way through. Um, but what I was going to mention is Kevin Smith says something like that, like how the internet was mad about Keaton being Batman before the internet existed. Like he says some
yeah,
kind of bit
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
That's pretty
He's
funny.
like the internet was mad even though the
Hey,
internet wasn't
I
here
was
yet.
guilty of it when I found out Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker. I was
Mm.
livid until
And he
they
ended up being freaking awesome. Yeah.
they released the first teaser trailer where you don't see anything other than a bat symbol, the
And it was
Batman.
just his voice.
It was
Yeah.
there was different voices, and he comes in, he says something, then he laughs, and I was like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. But boy, I was upset. I pulled the whatever you want to call it. I was not happy that Heath Ledger was
Yeah.
going to be the Joker.
That is crazy to think back to that. And what's interesting is that at that time, no one had played Joker live action for like almost 20 years. So it was like huge. Now we've had a few more
Well,
actors
and
jump
Jack
in there.
Nicholson was so damn good
Yeah, he
that
was
it's
good.
like it was almost like maybe nobody wanted to take the risk of, okay, we're not even going to touch that. Like, why would you even try
Yeah,
to do a different version of it?
that too. But then after Ledger's, Nicholson's almost looks kind of cartoony.
Yeah,
I still like it, but it doesn't have
they
the
are.
grittiness.
I still prefer Nicholson because I prefer that Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for the tone of The Dark Knight and the Nolan trilogy, I should say, for that
Right,
tone of Batman, Heath Ledger was perfect for that. I mean, there's no way
right.
a Jack Nicholson portrayed or that style would have worked in a Nolan trilogy. So, they were both
Yeah.
perfect for what they were.
Yeah, because he went more for like a grounded
Hmm.
approach, and Ledger's Joker was basically a terrorist.
Well, they were trying, yeah. With the Tim Burton, it was we're bringing a comic book to life. That's what
Hmm.
they were doing. They were trying to make it look like you're watching a comic book. And
Right, and it was more of a novelty.
that's what it feels like when you're watching the '89 Batman.
Yeah, and I think that's also what helps it stand the test of time too is that touch because
Hmm.
now it's set apart from all the ones we got after that. But that was a good one. And Romulus.
Okay, so Alien Romulus.
Hmm.
I am very excited. I am about as excited for that as I was for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Gotcha.
Hopefully, I am not. Now, not that I was let down with Kingdom of the, like, it's still a good movie, but I wanted it to be awesome. I wanted it.
Hmm.
Remember, we talked about that. I wanted it to just like blow me away, and it didn't. I'm
Hmm.
hoping that Alien Romulus kicks me right in the testes. Um, it it so it's supposedly takes place just a couple of years, or it's around the same time as the first movie is
Hmm.
when this one takes place, right? But you can go ahead and say it's like a soft reboot because it's basically the same premise. Now, I don't know how the alien's going to get on the ship,
Right.
but it's the same premise as far as it seems. Like I said, they've done a masterful job with the trailers because the trailers
Hmm.
aren't really revealing a whole lot other than there's alien and face huggers on a ship. You know,
Right.
so that's how you do a trailer, by the way, Hollywood. Not when you, if you watch a 3 minute synopsis, basically you're watching a 3 minute synopsis of the movie, you don't need to go watch it. I mean, that's how most trailers are
Right.
done nowadays. Um, but this seems they're giving you just enough information to be like, holy crap, I like it, but you really don't know what's going on. So, um,
Right.
yeah, I'm very excited for this. And the fact that it's an actual horror movie director that's directing it. So they're going back to the horror roots, getting away from like the sci-fi action
Yeah.
that we've kind of, because of course that's what Aliens is. Alien 3, I think they kind of tried to go back, but that movie, with all the studio interference, it got kind of it suffered from that.
Hmm.
Resurrection was definitely a science fiction action movie. Um, and then the AVP movies, sci-fi action. There's not
Right.
the horror element of Alien has kind of gotten lost. So
Uh-huh.
this seems like they're trying to get back, true to form, and I'm very excited about it. I have to say,
Yeah.
especially after, well, I like Prometheus, but then you got Alien.
Mm,
I can't even say it. Um,
Covenant.
yeah, like my boy
The
from Adam.
cinematography is good in that.
Adam does movies. It's a YouTube channel. I suggest you watch.
Uh-huh.
He's pretty funny. He called it Alien Coven shit. Oh God, I can't stand that movie. I have
Gosh.
the 4K steelbook of it actually.
Uh-huh.
Um, it was one of those. I was like, well, I think it was at Best Buy for like $10, 9.99. So I
Yeah.
just picked it up for the sake. It's a beautiful steelbook actually, but I hate that movie. That's a movie I hate. Like, I don't dislike it. I hate it, and I wish it didn't exist.
Yeah. Um, you're more you're definitely more of an alien head than I am, but I do appreciate it. Like I like the alien movies, especially the first two. And kind of when I saw the trailer that I saw, I was getting that same feeling that you had like okay, we're going back to like a claustrophobic ship where
Hmm.
the stuff is going down on. So and even kind of the music and then the way that the title comes up, it looks like how it did in the very
Yep.
first one. So I thought that was cool. So they're
Yeah, you hear
definitely,
the music, but you can't hear what's going on. Like, there's no,
yeah,
yeah,
I like that. It's like that ominous, and then you see the little slashes that make aliens. So it looks like they're going more for like the first movie where it's like a horror movie on a ship and it's claustrophobic and you don't know all what's going on. It's a lot in shadows, but it is a little bit more action driven than it would have, than the 70s version.
Yeah,
There's
there's
going to be a
gonna
little bit more.
be, you could tell there's gonna
Yeah.
be a little bit more, but there is
Yeah.
no doubt, especially with the director they have, um, horror and tension is gonna be
Yeah.
what drives it. They're definitely gonna make you crap your pants.
Yeah. My
Um,
gut. Yeah. I got that. Like my gut reaction was like, okay, this is like 95% alien with like a touch of aliens thrown in there because it
mhm.
is a little more action in it. But I think you're gonna like it because it seems like it's going back to the roots,
Yep,
you know, which is what it needed. And it says producer
absolutely,
Ridley
yeah, yeah,
Scott, so I don't know how involved he is. He might have taken a couple of calls and give him some direction, but
exactly. It's because the what's his name? Uh, it's Fetty Alvarez, right?
something
Um,
like that. Yeah.
Fede, I think. Fetty Alvarez is how you say his name. I don't know.
Yeah, it
Um,
was something like that. Alvarez. I remember
but
seeing
he
that on there.
said that what's his name watched it. It's Fetty, or so if anybody knows the
Okay.
proper pronunciation, but it's Fede Alvarez. I saw it. I read an article where he said Ridley Scott saw it and was like, "This is just great." So Ridley Scott doesn't
Oh.
have a whole lot of. Yeah, he probably said, "Oh yeah, you can do the movie." Executive producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say that gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
Yeah.
you gotta throw produced by in there because I mean
Right.
he gave it his blessing. He's like, yes,
Kind of like what Spielberg did for Back to the Future. Like he put them at the table. Like they wouldn't have got it made without his calls.
right.
Yeah. But
So
yeah.
yes, I am very excited for Alien Romulus.
You won't have
What's
to
the
wait that long too. It's August, right?
something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but I will be there on opening day. There's no doubt.
nice.
And you know
I'm
what's
gonna try to
crazy?
make it too.
That man, I've already seen how many movies have I seen at the theater this year? So I mean, I've seen more movies this year at the theater than I've seen, wow, in a while. I think last year I
Wow.
saw like two, but I've already seen like
Yeah.
at least four this year.
That's good. Yeah, because I know you saw Kingdom, Ghostbusters.
Kingdom, Ghostbusters, Civil War.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
what else? Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just those three. But still, three for this time of year, everything's just now ramping up. That's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
it's at least those three I've seen.
my comic book side, I'm very curious about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes,
Um,
so that's gonna
seeing Hugh
be
Jackman.
I'm gonna go watch that, and then
Yeah,
I'm gonna go watch Alien. Yeah.
yeah. So that'll be interesting because I mean Hugh Jackman was done like definitively, but Reynolds, got him back, and I never thought I'd see him in the yellow suit. So that was just that, and that supposedly there'll be a lot of cameos in it, and it's kind of the offset. They're going to play with the idea that Fox was bought by Disney slash Marvel, so it's like that world's ending and he's still there, because when they're fighting
Well, I see that
in
they're
the
jumping
trailer,
into some type of portal or
yeah, they're
something.
yeah, and even in the trailer when they're fighting, like the Fox logo is like in the background, like crashed, like the statue in Planet of the Apes, like
Oh, really?
just yeah, yeah. So it'll
That's
be
funny.
fun. So
Ah, cool.
I want to
Man,
see that too.
I've been on a watching some pretty bad horror movies lately.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched Slumber Party Massacre, which is master filmmaking. Okay, 77 minutes of just greatness. Okay.
Fun? Would you call it
It's
fun?
it is a blast. It's very fun. Uh, I watched Chopping Mall, which that's a classic. Anybody who knows anything about a little bit of horror has heard of Chopping Mall because
Wow.
it's a ridiculous, terrible, beautiful, fun horror movie. Um, and then
That's interesting.
the other day I watched Slaughter High. Now I remember when I was a kid. Now this may be a part of the Mandela effect,
Mm,
but and this is why I don't think it isn't. So when I was a kid, so this I think Slaughter High came out like 86. I remember renting, not me, but it was rented at my house and we were watching the movie. And I remember the opening credits coming up. It's a black screen and in red lettering it comes up and it said April Fool's Day in all red lettering, right? Because the
hmm
movie takes place on April Fool's Day and it's a practical joke on this nerd. He accidentally gets all messed up by chemical burns and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so 10 years later, he enacts revenge on the kids that messed him up. And he's got this Joker mask on, and he's just killing kids and these people in the school. And I remember
Uh-huh.
this movie pretty vividly because it kind of scared the crap out of me. I mean, I was like 6. Okay. While I was watching that, that's why I'm perfectly fine today. And so when I became an adult, young adult, and I'm looking for this movie, every time I looked for April Fool's Day, I would find another movie from 1986 called April Fool's Day, but it's a completely different movie. And actually, Tom Wilson is in it.
Oh, Back to the
Yeah,
Future.
which I have the DVD of April Fool's Day here. But I was like,
Mm,
man, I know there was a movie that came out when I was a kid called April Fool's Day. It scared the shit out of me. I know it exists. I could
right.
never find it. And I worked with a guy. This is when I was a sheriff's deputy, and he was a big time horror guy. And he said, man, when I described the movie to him, he's like, that's not April Fool's Day. I know what movie that is. It's called Slaughter High. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, the
Ah.
movie I'm talking about is called April Fool's Day. And he's like, I don't think so, man. It's called Slaughter High. It takes place on April Fool's Day. And we were talking about the same movie.
Wow.
Well, a few years go by, internet's getting, and as I'm doing research, sure enough, it was called April Fool's Day, but they changed the name because of the other movie
No.
called April Fool's Day, right? So they changed the name to Slaughter High. And I am telling you, I will put my hand on a Bible that the copy I saw as a kid was called April Fool's Day. But
Wow.
when I just watched it the other day, I don't have the VHS, but it's on Tubi, and the version they have is obviously it's a VHS um, version that's on Tubi. It's
Right.
it's it's called Slaughter High, and all the research they talk about it. It was going to be called April Fool's Day, but because of the other movie coming out, they had to change their name, so it was released as Slaughter High. And but all the rest of like I think in Japan and a couple other countries there is April Fool's Day versions that you can find the cassettes. They're hundreds of dollars on eBay.
Dang.
So this is so weird, but I'm telling you, when I was a kid, I saw the movie and it was called April Fool's Day. So we watched a copy of it called April Fool's Day, but all the research that I have seen shows that it was never released in the US as April Fool's Day. So I don't know.
Well, the weird part about it is it's not like you're just remembering it wrong because you looked it up and it was called that
Right.
originally.
It was
And
called
that's how
that.
you remember it. And you wouldn't have been able to look it up as a kid. So
I was
you
looking it
must
up
have,
and I just, I mean, the internet was around. I mean, this was like early 2000s, but um, the as much information wasn't there.
yeah.
But I could never find it. All I could ever find was the other April Fool's Day. And that's because I should have been looking for Slaughter High. But how did I watch a copy of this movie called April Fool's Day?
Was it a recorded copy?
I don't think so. But I mean, I was so young, man. But it
Yeah.
stuck with me because of how the movie scared me. But anyway, I just recently watched it and the movie's not scary at all. It's pretty stupid, but it's still great. You know?
No, but maybe like what if somebody recorded it and the first time it aired, it was that title and it was a recorded copy? Or maybe the first wave of tapes were that? I don't
Maybe
know.
so.
That's,
May It's kind of like the Little Mermaid with the penis in the castle. I don't know.
yeah.
I have no idea, but I
We should
know
see if Seth
for
has a copy.
There is no way because I had no idea that this movie was ever called something else.
That's
Um,
weird. That's a good little
so
mystery.
yeah, but it's really neat. And but I remember talking to Carrie, and he was like, "Dude, I know a movie you're talking about, and it's called Slaughter High. It's not called April Fool's Day." So it's just it's so weird to try to figure out if it's the Mandela effect or not. Drives me insane.
Yeah, that is like a Mandela thing. That's interesting.
Mhm. But anyway, I just
Dang.
recently watched it, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's very fun. It's pretty bad. How the hell that scare? I mean, I've watched a lot of scary movies, and how that one scared me, I don't know. It might have just been the subject matter or something just scared me for some reason. But and I say
Right.
scared me. I just remember watching it like this, you know.
Dang, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, and something else I watched. This is actually a newer movie.
mhm.
The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
That's a title.
So it's like Boy Scouts. So the zombie apocalypse breaks out, and these Boy Scouts are the main characters. That movie made me laugh out loud like 10 times. It's on Amazon Prime. I had never heard of it before. It came out like 2017 or something. But that's actually a good little movie. I think you'd like it.
Okay.
So Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. It's pretty good.
Scouts Guide. That's cool. And I definitely
Yeah.
need to watch Dust Till Dawn. That's a cool title, by the way, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Dusk Till Dawn is number one.
Hmm.
You got to watch that first. It's on HBO Max.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yep. So I know what you're doing tonight.
Yeah, and I'll probably like it so much that I'll be buying the Blu-ray later.
You know they have Blu-rays. It's supposed to be getting a 4K release. It was announced like 2 years ago. It still hasn't happened. So
Oh, dang.
I don't own a Blu-ray of it actually. I have a DVD copy and I have a HD digital copy. I'm holding out for a 4K.
Okay, then yeah. Are the sequels any good? Because I know there were sequels to it. They're all bad.
Trash. They're
Okay.
all trash.
So just stick with the first one.
Just watch the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pretend those don't exist. It's kind of like the prequels, the sequels, the Acolyte,
Hey,
Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, like all that shit that don't exist. That's
hey,
all that's
I'll,
fan fiction.
yeah, I agree to a certain, but leave my prequels alone. Let me have
Okay,
those.
I'll give you the prequels.
Okay.
As bad as they are, they're better than all this other crap. So I'll give you that.
All right. I appreciate that.
All right, man. Well, I guess that's enough rambling on for our little
Yeah.
catch up, wrap up, whatever you want to call. I just wanted to hang out, and I'm glad you did too.
Yeah. It was
So
fun. It'd been a minute, so it was good to do another one.
yeah, we're gonna talk about what we're gonna when we're finished with this, we're gonna discuss what we're gonna do next. And I got some ideas in mind.
Awesome.
So cool. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and join us on the next episode of whatever the hell we decide to do.
There you go.
Adios.